The following production is produced by the State University of New York College at Oneonta.
Good evening and welcome to this week's episode of Inside Red Dragon Sports. I'm your host, Geoff Hassard, Assistant Director of Athletics and Sports Information Director here at SUNY Oneonta. And tonight we're invited into the studio. Our field hockey team will talk to head coach Kelly Kingsbury along with Jackie Camp and Bridget Robinson. So if you just stay tuned after the break, I'll be joined in studio by tonight's first guest, head field hockey coach Kelly Kingsbury.
You ever think about buying a bigger place?
Just waiting for a visit from the credit fairy.
There is no credit fairy.
How else will I get a better credit score?
Look, you keep your credit card balances low and only open a new card if you really need it.
No fairy?
There's no magic to improving your credit, but there's help, and it's free. Go to creditfairy.org.
Welcome back. Joining me now in studio is head field hockey coach Kelly Kingsbury. Welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Why don't you just give us a little idea of how things are going so far?
Great. We're off to a great start. We're 5-4 right now. Had a little rough spot in the season. We started out pretty strong. We ran a 4-1. So we're up to 5-4 right now. So we're back on the home stretch. Quite a few home games coming up. So we're looking for some victories on our home turf. So.
Yeah, 9 of our final 11 games are at home this year. But we do play, like you said, I mean, we got off to a 4-1 start, hit a little bump there after that first couple weeks, but I mean, we played some pretty good teams. You've built a pretty competitive schedule. So why don't you talk a little bit about your schedule that you build, for the program?
Yep, we do try to, within our conference, we're still playing some top schools, Cortland and Geneseo. I did try to build into some nationally ranked teams. We always play Skidmore, St. Lawrence, William Smith. So we do have a really reputable schedule, and we've at last 2 years now we've played Oneonta, which has always been a ranked team. So we have about 6 or 7 ranked teams on our schedule right now.
Now, which if you're trying to build a program, which now you're in your 3rd season here, we have made strides as each year goes on. The quality has improved from when you got here 4 years ago. So how does that schedule figure into that when you're trying to attract students to come to Oneonta?
I definitely sell our competitive schedule to the recruits, and it's also really important to know that we have to build that schedule right now because of the lack of the automatic qualifier. Next year we will have an automatic qualifier, so that'll be nice. We do have the SUNY Championship this year. Top 4 teams will play in that tournament, and then next year the team that wins that tournament will go to the NCAAs. Now,
how important was that for us to finally get that automatic qualifier?
Really important. I think as an independent school trying to get into the NCAA tournament when so many conferences have automatic qualifiers now, you basically had to have a perfect season to get, I think it was probably ended up being like 3 spots at the end of the year. And typically Cortland always hogs one of those spots anyway. So it gives us sort of a second chance to, if we didn't win the conference in season, it gives us a second chance to try and seal that deal into the
Now, how many
NCAAs.
teams did it take for the NCAA tournament now? Is it 24 for the year?
Yeah, something. It's not a big number.
Right.
It's kind of small
So
compared to some of the other sports.
Right, so it's a premium to have that
and I think there's probably 20-some conferences that have automatic qualifiers.
Right, so it doesn't leave too many open spots for those.
And some of the other conferences are very weak conferences, and it's really frustrating to see those teams go because they won their conference, and when we know we're better than them.
Right now, this year with the conference tournament, I mean, if Geneseo or us or Brockport happen to dethrone, Cortland, I mean, do we think we might get a consideration, even though we don't have an AQ? Would they throw us?
Yeah, no, I think definitely if we were to go to SUNY X and win that tournament, I think that's good for us, and I think at least we definitely would get a look at ECACs a little better, if not the NCAA tournament.
Right, as an at-large.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Well, now you kind of grew up kind of locally, Green, right?
Sherburne.
Sherburne. not too far away. What's that like for the local recruiting? I mean, do you try and stay in this area? Do you, where are your big recruiting areas?
Yeah, lots of that way as well. Section 4 is pretty big for field hockey, Green, Binghamton Way, and we do get a lot of kids from that way. I do actually have a lot of Albany area kids, and the Buffalo area is kind of big for us.
Okay.
But like right now, I feel like it's semi-local.
Right.
I do get some sort out of the local area, but it's pretty local for us.
Now you All-American field hockey player at Hartwick, across the other side of the street. But what kind of let's just again we talked about it last year, but what kind of an experience do you think that made for you and getting into coaching and being where you are now?
Yeah, I think it was probably like my junior year, definitely my senior year over at Hartwick, that I decided I really wanted to coach, because I knew my playing career was coming to an end and I kind of wanted to continue the love for the sport. So I definitely knew I wanted to coach, and so I knew I had to start somewhere, so I was the assistant over there for 2 years, which was tough coming right out of graduation, and I know that was a hard decision for Anna to make. I think what helped this decision is that it was a lot of underclassmen below me. I think we didn't have anybody in the junior class below my senior class, so really it was only the sophomores and the freshmen that I played with that I would be coaching. And the respect they had for me as a player and as a person, I think, was enough for Anna to say this transition is going to be okay. Now,
being such a good player that you were, is it frustrating? Did that make you a better coach? Is it tougher when you look at the players on the field and say, oh, I wouldn't have done that, or how would I have done it? I mean, how does that figure into your coaching?
You sort of change your mentality, definitely. I mean, the first 2 years as being in the system was really hard because I just wanted to go out there and do it. But you sort of change your mentality and you just sort of try and think of the situation as a player and then translate it to how to teach the kid as a coach. I definitely think to myself sometimes, like, okay, I might have made that mistake too, but how would I have corrected it myself? And then try to get across to the athlete how to correct it and to make better decisions.
So for you, being a player of an All-American status, you think that you can read it a little better? So like you said, what correction would I have made, and then maybe you can show that to the players that we have.
I always say I wish I could have like 11 earpieces in them, because I feel like if I could play chess the whole game and move them around, we'd be great. If I could make every decision for them, it would make life a lot easier. But we can't do that. So I just feel like when they're on my side of the field and we can make those adjustments, it's great, and it helps those decision-making processes later too.
Right. Now it's kind of that human element of the game. I mean, you coach them and then hope that they make the best decisions when they're playing. Now with this year's team, certainly, we have quite a lot of good players. Headlined by probably Ainsley as our top player, SUNY Player of the Year last year. What do you think that meant for our program to have, as a junior, that kind of player where, you can say again when you're recruiting, hey, we had the SUNY Player of the Year and potentially has the SUNY Player of the Year again. So what do you think that means to the program to have somebody like that in our playing for us?
I think it was a huge accomplishment for us as a program, not only for Ainsley, but I think she was up. That was a big list of a lot of good players for the SUNY Player of the Year last year, and I was really excited, and I was surprised. I was like, I knew she could potentially be there, but it's all the coaches voting too, so it's hard to say what the other coaches thought too, But I was really excited for that honor, and it's obviously great for the program. And I think as far as getting Ainsley to that All-American status, that definitely boosted it last year. So she's on the right track for that this year.
Now, of course, just talking a little bit more about her, she recently surpassed 100 career points, first time in over 25 years that someone had done that. Again, those kinds of accomplishments, what do you think that means for other players that are in our program, the freshmen, the sophomores?
Yeah, I think Ainsley's definitely a player that a lot of people look up to. She's not a vocal player by any means, but whenever she gets the ball, you can just hear everybody on the team be like, go. You know what I mean? Because they just know she's going to go and do it. And I think that the younger players definitely watch her and are trying to emulate her and do some things that she does. So it's definitely, and Ainsley's not going to pull anybody's side and teach them to do anything, because she's just not a vocal person, but she just is a great leader by example. Right.
Now, some of the other leaders that we have in our program, of course, we're going to have Jackie on the show. What kind of leadership qualities do they show as well in the program?
We have a big group of seniors right now, and then below that is really only 2 juniors. Jackie's one of them, and we have some great leadership in the underclassmen right now. Jackie was a phenomenal leader last spring, was named captain last spring, has really helped that senior class. Really excited she's still a junior because we still have her for another year.
Right.
And then that sophomore class is becoming phenomenal leaders. Bridget Robinson's going to be on the show later too. She's doing great things for us. Caitlin Bushnell, there's so many of them that are returning starters too.
So do you think that they kind of bridge the gap a little bit? Like you said, there's only a couple of juniors or whatever. And now you've got this big sophomore class, which was part of your second recruiting class, and then now the freshmen that you brought in. Who are some of the newcomers that you think down the road will be stars or solid players for us?
We definitely have the freshman class this year is a pretty strong class. They are very young, and like I said, having 6 seniors, they're not getting as much time as I think they could because we just have a solid group of seniors up there. But definitely moving down to the road to next year, some of them are going to do great things.
Yeah.
We have a couple that have started a couple times in the backfield. Jess Hodes and Steph Fisk both have been sort of battling for that spot back there and doing a great job.
And we also have our freshman goalie, Kelly.
Yep, Kelly Bracco. She's doing great. She's improved so much. I'm really excited for her for the spring. And she has pushed Leslie a little bit. I think it's definitely what Leslie needed. And Kelly's a great kid. She's enjoying it a lot, and I think spring's going to be great for her, and she's definitely going to come back ready to go next year.
Now, with within your, within the teamwork, the framework of the team, how's the competition amongst, how does that work out for, with your freshmen, juniors, seniors?
It gets kind of hectic sometimes. I have some upperclassmen that get frustrated with their playing time and everything like that, and it's my job to put the best 11 players on the field, and so that's what we keep going with. And they take it well, and they just use it to make themselves better, and that's what they need to do, to get the time they want.
Now, how do you utilize them during the recruiting process? You have overnights, you have kids come to campus. I mean, how do you use your team to help
I try
recruit?
to use typically the freshmen and the sophomores, just because they have they just went through the process themselves, and so they're a little fresh with it, and sort of fresh to the school, fresh to the program, so they have sort of a better outlook, I feel like, on it. I do have some of my upperclassmen do it. They tend to be a little busier with classes and majors and things like that, so I try not to burden them with too much. But they always get together with the recruits and have lunch and talk to them, so if they have any questions for the upperclassmen as well.
Now, do the student athletes enjoy that part of it?
Yeah, they do. I try to do 2 big overnights during the season, because it is hard during the season, but I think it's important to get the recruits here to see a game, to experience the locker room, do things like that. That's the fun stuff. They come to a practice. In the off season we can't do that for them.
Right.
We can send them to classes, and so they can get that experience, but I think ultimately they're coming to see the field hockey experience because they know the academics will work here.
Right. Now, what other kinds of things do you try to talk about when you're recruiting potential student athletes here?
We sell our competitive program. I always talk about the academics, and we have a ton of programs here to help a lot of people out with what they want to do. So pretty much I sell the academics and the field hockey, and then once they get here, it pretty much sells itself. So I just need to sell them to get them here.
Right.
And then the team takes over from there, and they pretty much sell the program the rest of the
Right.
way.
Most of the students that we've had on the show, when we talk about, what really made you come to Oneonta, a lot of them say, well, once they come to campus, they think this is it.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, it's just a great town. With the 2 colleges in town, it's just a very college atmosphere. And the campus is beautiful,
right? And
especially this time of year.
Right, and we've certainly have done a lot of things to our facilities and just the general campus facilities. I mean, we just finished a new garden in the almost not the center of campus, but off, to improve that part of it out in front of our library. I mean, so the college has made a commitment to, trying to enhance and, overhaul. So now we're about mid-season. What are you looking forward to for the last couple weeks as we go forward here?
Like I said, we're looking forward to our home game stretch here. Little relaxing, not have to get on a bus, and just play some good hockey on our AstroTurf. So.
And we expect to be in the SUNY. I guess you'd say this will be the first official SUNY tournament. And I think they used to have one. I don't know if they've ever actually had a tournament, but
No,
back in the 80s when they first started, I think it was still the regular season champion. So
Right, yep.
this will be the first time we've ever had one.
Yep, if we do our homework and win the games we need to win, we'll be there.
Yep. Well, we certainly hope so, and that's going to be in a couple of weeks. So good luck the rest of the way, and thanks for coming on this evening.
Geoff.
All right. Well, I'd like to thank Kelly Kingsbury for coming by this evening. And after the break, I'll be joined by junior captain Jackie Camp.
What makes D3 special is the ability to participate in my team and within the broader community.
The perfect ending to a perfect season.
Being a D3 student athlete has completely expanded my life.
I learned how to lead. I really found a voice.
What time is it?
It's more about the experience rather than just a sport itself.
Without the experience of being a Division III student athlete, I wouldn't be the person who I am today.
NCAA Division III. Discover, develop, dedicate.
Welcome back to the show. Joining me now in studio is junior field hockey captain Jackie Camp. Welcome to the show, Jackie.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm a junior here, and my major is child education. My concentration's in liberal arts, but I'm hoping to become a art teacher one day for like elementary school. So.
And you're from?
I'm from Queensbury, which is about 45 minutes north of Albany.
Well, I've been up there. I've been up to Lake George.
Beautiful,
a few times. Yes,
yes.
it is. Yes, it
Especially
is.
right now.
Well, the season has started. Things are going well so far.
Things are going great.
What's it like to be captain as a junior?
It's a big role to fill, but I feel like I do it well, and a lot of teammates come to me for a lot of things, school-wise, friend-wise, like anything, which I feel like is a great thing to have as like a leader. And when it comes to games, like trying to keep everybody like pumped up and get ready for the game.
You're a vocal leader?
Yes, I'm a very vocal leader.
Okay, which is great. Now, so you feel comfortable when teammates come to you and just kind of ask you any questions? They might have a problem in the class, or?
I don't know. I feel like kind of like a big sister, almost.
Well, that's certainly important. I mean, we all need big brothers and big sisters, especially when kids get to college, because it's such a big transition. And you know, so the freshmen coming in would certainly need people, role models, which we try to stress within our student athletes, and try to hope that they're role models for our younger athletes. So how do you see, as far as this year, of course, recently you were an Athlete of the Week for us. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Based on, you had a great week. You had a couple goals against Skidmore, and then of course you had 3 assists and a win over Houghton. Of course, those 3 assists were assisting Ainsley, who it was kind of automatic or whatever. What's it like to play with Ainsley?
I love that girl. She's a great athlete, and she's going to do great things this year. And I like helping her get, like, going up the list. I want her to be like number 2 with goals. I feel like she can do it this year. So
do you think having someone on the team like that, that plays at such a high level, you think that helps the rest of the team in the way we play?
It does, and I feel like it does. Sometimes it doesn't matter. Sometimes it does. Like, it's nice to be able to push her to like aim high, but it's also like it's also a team sport, so anybody can do it.
Right.
So.
Right. And how do you think with our newcomers that have been brought in this year, with some of the sophomores that we have, how do you think that all works?
I feel like a lot of the girls are kind of, like, especially with the freshmen, because it's such a big class, that they're a little nervous, but everyone's starting to relax, and we're all becoming a team, and we're all getting very close, which is what you need.
Right.
You need to be a team, especially with a sport like this.
And with Coach Kingsbury now in her 3rd year, of course, you were part of her first recruiting class. What's it been like to watch our program grow?
It's growing very well. Like, our team's getting better and better every year, and I really feel like this year and next year are going to be great years for our team. So.
Right, now, because I know that when Coach Kingsbury was hired, our program was kind of fluctuating a little bit. I mean, we had, I think, 3 coaches in 3 years or something like that, and a lot of people were kind of wondering what was going on. So does the stability factor, I mean, how important is that for consistency?
It's actually very important, yeah, because like when we have a consistent coach, it keeps a consistent team. And I feel like since I've had her freshman year, I feel like, well, it's only me and Andrea, the other junior, but being there with the same coach, I feel like it's helping us become a better team. Right,
because right now we have a winning record, and last year we were just 1 game under 500, and before that, so we have gotten progressively better. I mean, certainly we're looking forward now to competing in the SUNY tournament now that they have one. That's great. It should be exciting, because we certainly would like to work to get that automatic qualifier. How much does that motivate the team to
I think it pushes a lot of the upperclassmen. The freshmen don't really know as much yet, but they're getting there. And then the upperclassmen, we really are like pushing everybody to get there because like that'll be huge. We want to get a lot of recognition and like become like higher up in sports. So.
And now, when you were being involved in the recruiting process, do you like having students come on campus? And
I do. I think it's nice to like show students around and show them like try to talk them into coming to Oneonta because it's a beautiful campus here and we have a great team.
Right. And what kinds of what do you talk about when you?
Well, I usually see what they have to ask about and answer their questions. Usually it's just about like academics and stuff. Then they ask like what we do like outside of like athletics and practice and stuff, and like really during season there's not much you can do. Like we focus a lot on classes and getting work done, and then a lot of times we do like team stuff. And
now with your do you get to bring some of the recruits to your classes?
I haven't personally, but when I was recruited I did go to a class, and I think it's actually very cool to sit in a college class when you're only in high school.
And what class did you go to?
I think it was like a theater class.
Well, theater's not bad. Theater's not bad. Now, what one thing or two things really sealed the deal for you when you were being recruited? I mean, why did you come?
Number one was definitely the education, because I wanted to be a teacher, and then I just knew I wanted to play field hockey, so it didn't really. It's beautiful here. So.
And being a Division III student athlete, I mean, what do you think that means for you?
It gives me enough time to be an athlete and also be a student. I think it's perfect timing and.
Right, because the NCAA has, we have this new, branding initiative that we unveiled, which talks about the Division III student athlete and how it's so great to be able to compete at a high level and also achieve academic success. I mean, do you find that here at Oneonta?
I definitely do, because like our team, like the past 2 years we've had like one of the highest GPAs, so I feel like I have enough time to get my work done and also enjoy playing field hockey.
Right, and just so you know, I mean, yes, we have garnered, I mean, a lot of our individual players have gotten, National Field Hockey Coaches, academic honors, but we've also been honored as a team, which again, you said it's a team sport and everybody is really into what they're doing here, which is pretty exciting as we, again, grow our program over, and it's great that you're a part of it. So we certainly wish you good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
And thanks for coming by.
Thank you.
All right, well, I'd like to thank junior captain Jackie Camp for coming by this evening, and after the break, we'll have sophomore Bridget Robinson.
Any questions?
No.
You know.
We're not magicians, we can't read your mind.
We need your questions, each and every kind. Will this react with my other medicine?
Hey, what are all these tests even for? Questions are the answer.
Welcome back. Joining me now is sophomore Bridget Robinson of the field hockey team. Welcome to the show, Bridget.
Hi, thank you.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm a sophomore from Clark Summit, Pennsylvania, the only out-of-state player on the team.
You're like an international student.
It's a big deal. It's a really big deal.
I've been to Clark Summit.
Yeah.
It's not that far away.
It's not. Actually, I'm a lot closer than a lot of the girls from New York, actually. So.
Which is pretty amazing, isn't it?
Yeah. Everyone's like, you're only an hour and 45 minutes. No big deal.
Yeah, Clark Summit. That's home of, well, only because the only reason why I know that is because of, that's where I buy all my running stuff, running equipment.
Yeah, it's big down
National
there.
Running Store.
Yeah,
National
like
Running Center.
right next to me.
So this is great. So so coming to Oneonta, I mean, was that like a culture shock, or what is it?
A little bit. Some of the girls, they can't understand what I say sometimes. Like when we get our subs on the bus, I call them hoagies, and everyone busts me. But no, it's fun. I like it.
So is it soda, tonic? What's
it's soda.
The other? Oh, it's soda. Okay. Because I know there's a lot of regional.
You go out to Western PA, then it's pop. But it's
pop.
soda where I live.
Okay. Well, see, it was tonic where I grew up, and that's in Massachusetts. So.
Oh, okay.
So that's even another one. So what's it been like to be a part of our program? You're in your second year. You made the transition last year. What was it like? Kind of maybe talk about a little bit like the freshman year and then how it's been a little better this year.
I loved it. It's definitely a transition, coming to school for anyone coming to college. But the team just makes you feel really warm, like since I got here. And during my freshman year, I was just recovering from ACL surgery. So it was my first time back playing, like a week before preseason I got cleared to play. So it was a big transition for me, even more, just trying to be the athlete I used to be. So that was a big deal for me. But I did really well. I got some playing time as a freshman. And at the end of my freshman season, I started transitioning to defense. But then I hurt my knee again, so I sat out. spring season was like a really big deal for me. I started really focusing on defense because we lost a couple defenders to graduation. So that was really cool. Thinking that I had the opportunity to get in the starting lineup was a big deal for me. And yeah, this year I've been a starter all season, and it's been great. I've been working really hard. So
now, and it certainly has paid off because, you know, being a starter, like you said, in the sophomore year after coming back, what was the rehab like for you? I mean, was it, you know what I mean, as far as going through that process of trying to get back? I mean, talk a little bit about what it's...
It was very challenging. It happened in the winter of my senior year in high school. So it was really challenging, but the thing that kept me going was I was so determined. I just wanted to play. Like, I was so excited to come to Oneonta and try to play field hockey. I knew they were a really good team. So that's what kept me going. And then when I hurt myself again at the end of last year, I was starting all over with the rehab, but I came back great in the spring, and I worked really hard all summer just to keep it healthy. So, and I'm doing great. I feel great. So
now, just to talk a little bit about our training staff and how they, you know, the job that they do in trying to rehab our athletes and stuff. I mean, what kind of involvement do they have, and how do they act with the student athletes?
They're phenomenal. The first day of my freshman year, I walked right in and I said, you know, I have a history of a bad knee, but, you know, they were like, okay, we can meet with you. We'll check it out whenever you need. They're always helpful. They're the best. You can go and ask them anything. I go there like every day just to say what's up.
Yeah, well, no, then, which is great because I know that they enjoy having the student athletes come down.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like a hub down there.
It is. It's great.
If you want to find out anything, you just kind of go down there and hang out. So now this year, we're off to a good start. Right now we're 5-4. We've had some good wins, and but we've played some really good teams. What do you think it's like to have a schedule like we do?
It makes you like proud when you win games. It's like you're not just beating up some team that is, you know, they have a small school, not a good team. It's not exciting to beat bad teams. It's exciting when you give a nationally ranked team like the game of your life, and when you beat them. Or we played Skidmore and we ended up losing 5-2, but that was a 3-2 game. Like, we had them and we outplayed them, and they're nationally ranked. So, you know, I walked off that field like we happened to lose, but I was like, we just beat them because we just outplayed them the whole game. So it was a great feeling.
So now you think that will also lead us into hopefully when we get into the SUNY tournament this year. You know, what are you planning on there? I mean, what kind of an outlook do you have for?
I think we'll do really well. We had 2 really tough losses in our SUNY games already this season, but we've learned from it, and I know we're ready. Like, I know all of us can't wait to get back at Brockport and Geneseo, and I think the schedule that we play will prepares us for playoffs. So when we get into SUNY, we'll be ready, and if we move on from there, we've already played, you know, nationally ranked teams, so we know what to expect.
Now, Brockport and Geneseo, those are our only 2 grass games, right? Which are, what kind of a difference is it really? I mean, because we used to play on grass here when I first got here. Of course, now we have the turf field. What are some of the differences?
It's a whole nother game. I think grass is the great equalizer. You can play the worst team against a nationally ranked team on grass, and it's anyone's game. It's we have a great facility and a great turf, and it makes our game very skilled and very clean. And you go on grass, and the ball bounces wherever it wants to go, and it's a lot slower, and it's a whole different game. But
so you think that teams that have better athletes, maybe faster, turf helps them because they can play their game as opposed to, you know, you got to maybe wait a little bit because the ball is bouncing, you got to control it. And
turf shows you who the better team really is and who the better skilled team is, and grass is lucky bounce after lucky bounce. So
now because of course if Cortland ends up, you know, winning the regular season and we have to go there, now of course they play on field turf, which is even a little bit different than the regular AstroTurf that we have. Is there a big difference between those 2 surfaces?
It's not much. It's a little slower, but nothing we can't handle. We play on grass turf, and we're good on grass turf, so we're fine.
Well, now when you were being recruited, what kinds of things attracted you to Oneonta?
Well, obviously the athletics, the distance from home was a good place for me, and I did love the campus. And the final thing that came down to me was, if there was some reason I couldn't play field hockey, would I want to go to school here? And that's what crossed out the other schools for me, and that's why I came here. Well,
that's certainly, and that's what we get from the other student athletes that we have on the show. They talk about the academic reputation, which certainly, I mean, we've moved up again. We're in the top. We're number 3 now in schools of our size in the north. So certainly, the academic reputation is far-reaching now. And even to Clark Summit, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming by tonight.
Thanks so much.
And we certainly hope you guys, the team finishes strong and everything goes well for you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, well, thanks. I'd like to thank Bridget Robinson for joining me this evening, and also like to thank Jackie Camp and head coach Kelly Kingsbury. We certainly would like to remind you again that to visit our new website at OneontaAthletics.com for all the information, and certainly you'll be able to see all of our archive videos on YouTube. And we'd like to thank you for joining us this week, and we'll see you next time on Inside Red Dragon Sports.